Thank you for having us. Marissa and I are looking forward to being able to share a little bit more of this campaign with you. But really, we want to start under the lens of what we learned at lunch. Remember the 5 steps that Becky talked us through, right? Who can remember? I'm going to remind you, okay? We'll remind those 5 things that she talked about that are fundamental key strategies for health and all policies. First up, convene and collaborate. We're going to talk about how this campaign did that. Engage and envision. Third, we made plans. Fourth, we had people who stepped up to invest in change. And 5th, to track progress. So we're here for really 2 primary reasons. One, we want you to know about this campaign to help us spread the word and to be a part. But 2, we want to use this as a case example for you to understand what you might be able to do in your organizations using this model. Okay, so those 2 things, we're going to talk you through this particular campaign, why it's needed, why we did it, how we did it, and how it is something that you could repeat. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna start off with some introductions really quick. Even though Holly just gave a fantastic introduction, my gosh. So my name is Marissa and I work at Golden House. I'm sure in every session you've been in today, someone has said Golden House at some point. So I'm not totally sure if I need to reshare everything Golden House says, but who is familiar with Golden House by this point in the day? Okay, everyone feels very confident. We are the comprehensive domestic violence shelter here in Brown County, so Brown and surrounding counties. And that's really, we're obviously a shelter. Jen in her last presentation shared though, actually about 75% of what we do is outreach services out and about in the community. Shelter is only a small component of what we do. So super high level about Golden House, and I'll turn it over to Bridget.
Yeah, and you learned a little bit about me and my background. O'Connor Connected is a small marketing communication firm that's here, committed really to helping tell the stories of organizations in this region. I first came back, I attended St. Norbert here a while ago. But I came back in 2002, worked at the institution for over a decade, helping tell the institutional story, helping tell St. Norbert's story. I applied that then in the launch of O'Connor Connected, and now we work with lots of different organizations, but predominantly we still follow the Norbertine tradition of really staying focused in a way that's true to localitas, a term that they use to sort of say, focus on the community in which you live, work, and play, and apply your gifts, your vocational capacity to the region in which you're a part. And so that's really fundamental to the work that we do at O'Connor Connected in helping tell the stories that need to be told in our region through marketing, public relations, branding, and other ways of getting stories out. And we create all kinds of stuff, like websites and promotional materials and all that good stuff that helps get word out on different things. And we help with public awareness campaigns. And that's how we kind of fit into this equation. Interestingly, Golden House came to O'Connor Connected many years ago and said, we need more people to know about us for a couple of reasons. And one primary reason is that we're about to enter into a fundraising campaign in order to raise as many millions as we can to create a space and a place that is larger and more comprehensive than what we're able to do at this moment in time. So O'Connor Connected and Golden House then started to collaborate and to partner. We started to learn and trust, learn about one another and trust the way in which we could collaborate to tell the organizational story of Golden House, specifically though at that time around a fundraising campaign. That introduced us to O'Connor Connected, to Golden House, I thought, for the first time. But interestingly, our team started to reveal story after story after story of how they had interacted with Golden House over the years. One of our team members remembers celebrating her 3rd birthday at Golden House with her mom and her sister, because that's where they needed to be at the time. One of our staff members his wife in a previous marriage ended up finding her way to Golden House for assistance. And someone who was with us at the time, where we first started working together, her sister had reached out and leveraged Golden House services. So our company, our small little 10-person creative firm, who I thought was just meeting this organization to help tell their stories, had already lived this story out in some really intense ways. And so what we started to embark upon in telling the Golden House story really became missional and important for our organization. And that was, we started maybe about 7
Probably 8
years ago. And through that, we started to do some other things that went beyond just telling the fundraising story that was necessary for Golden House.
Yes. And that's actually what leads us now into the Be Safe campaign. So a little bit of background. Why this and why now? So during the pandemic, there were so many outfalls of COVID, the ripple effect, all the different impacts that were happening. We were really, I'll go back and say, there was the safer at home order, right? Remember when we were stuck at home for 2 weeks and that's what we were forced to do? Well, it wasn't safer at home for victims of domestic violence. It was actually more dangerous. And this actually continued. I have statistical data that I'll share a little later on of how our services have steadily been increasing over time. Unfortunately, so we touched on the Rise campaign a little bit. Unfortunately, during that time too, with our services increasing, the severity of abuse was also increasing. And there was many stories that I'm sure we're aware of that have been happening within our community over the past probably 2-3 years of homicide, murder, suicide, incidences occurring. So we are seeing this need, we are seeing the increase in cases, we're hearing more about it in the news, and that's when community members stepped forward and said, hey, we need to do something about this. We're already doing the work, we already had a great partnership with O'Connor Connective, but what can we do more now? And what can we really do to make an impact on everyone in the country? So really what we're trying to do is to seek more visibility, partnership, and support. We needed to really share our message, share Golden House's message. Otherwise, the only time you were hearing about Golden House was if there was a 911 call and police responded, which we know police are not always involved in calls. But really, when police are telling you, hey, call Golden House, here's their phone number, here's their information. Or if you had someone that had a personal connection, like the individual at Bridget's office. Otherwise, the typical person doesn't really hear of Golden House unless you're connected to our world. And I say our world because we're in that helping profession. But if you're not in this bubble and you're never exposed to domestic violence, you don't necessarily know who to call, which is why we're getting to this. So again, our overall intent is what we did and what you can do, which Bridget mentioned at the beginning.
So we had really how many of you have been with nonprofit organizations that have gone through fundraising campaigns or have needed to raise dollars? A good number of you, right? So organizations, nonprofits, one of the angels of the organization are those who are able to make some financial contributions in order for you to continue your services and your work. Well, that is true with most nonprofits who are looking for donor support. Golden House was blessed to have a donor who has asked to remain anonymous, who knew what was happening with the fundraising campaign for the facility and was actively aware and participated and was helping move the needle on that front. But also saw that as we were out talking about Golden House, that there were a lot of opportunities to expand partnerships, expand opportunities for awareness, and really help people know that this service was available, that there was help here locally. You was seeing on television ads or commercials that would talk about 1-800 numbers or national helplines and thought, how do we help get our local resources as visible as these national numbers for things that receive television commercials that might be public service announcements on any front, not just, related to domestic violence. And she came to us and said, if I could help with underwriting a portion of this to get you started, to create a campaign, do you think that your firm could help us in managing this? And then might you be able to participate in being able to bring some people, because Golden House is really busy. They're dealing with what they're dealing with. They're also trying to raise dollars. And I'd like to be able to assist them by having you step up and be a part of this. Well, of course we said yes. Of course we said that we would help. And so that began this opportunity of being able to have this donor idea, but really being able to put forth some professional talent around the notion of a public awareness campaign. So it wasn't just on the side for somebody else to do in the midst of all the million things that they were trying to do at a nonprofit, but really being able to put some designated time and attention to a campaign. And that requires dollars. And this donor was willing to help us get started. So in order to get started, we first needed to really understand, what do people know right now about where to go and how to get help if they're dealing with domestic violence? What are the resources out there? What's happening on the national front? What's happening at the state level? And what's happening locally? What are they seeing? So we started to take a look at what was out there, and then we really spent time focusing on, right here locally, what could we do? And that became the impetus for this campaign. So as I just said, we really looked at all the different campaigns that were out there, and then we realized that we needed a hotline number. Now, interestingly, Golden House already has a hotline. They already have trained advocates at the other end of that hotline. So you can call their phone number, but that phone number isn't super catchy, right? It was really something that you could just remember. And it certainly wasn't a number that we felt we could build into a fundraising or into a public awareness campaign for people to really know and see and understand. So we started this process to try to figure out how to identify a phone number. And as you can see, Vanna, if you would, we were able to identify 920 so that people understood local, right? What does 920 mean? It's here. It's predominantly Brown County. 920. 212. We can remember 212. SAFE. SAFE. So that phone number we were able to secure and build out then a campaign around that phone number. And we looked at lots of different creative platforms. How could we get the word out? So if you wanted to get the word out, of course, you might think social media, right? Social media is a cost-effective way to be able to spread the word. You might think, okay, what are all these other platforms that we have, from Instagram, websites? How could we create all the stuff that might be needed to be able to share this phone number, so that we could have more people know that if they call that number, and this is the magic of technology, it directly links to the same Golden House advocates. So we didn't have to create a new infrastructure of how to provide people help. We just needed to be able to create the marketing mechanism to connect them in a way that they would know that this help was there. We also had to make sure that if these phone numbers started to increase, that there was enough help on the other end, right? So we had to think through all these different parts and pieces, but ultimately we created platforms, call it an omni-channel campaign. So really just about any platform you could think of, we were going to be able to make things available.
And we did, really fast, really quickly, and really effectively, which I thought was amazing. I didn't know how fast you could get a billboard put up around Brown County. You can do it pretty quick when you have the right connection.
And really from a creative perspective, what are some of the things that you think might be a challenge when you're trying to showcase hope for domestic violence? What are some of the challenges we need to show? Victim shaming. Victim shaming, absolutely. What else? Staying positive. Privacy, right? Privacy of people. We knew if we were going to show faces, we probably needed to have actors or models. And the number one thing we didn't want to do is have actors or models. We wanted this to be authentic and real. And so that put us into a position of being able to say, how do we create the graphic identity and imagery for this campaign that could reflect any person who could see themselves in this set of advertising. How could anyone see themselves in it? And that brought us down the road of being able to have an illustrated campaign using the graphics that you see here.
This was actually one of our first ever images that we rolled out. And I don't know if you were gonna talk about that. So, again, working at a domestic violence agency, we don't have the time or the effort or the skill set to be putting behind the creative mind behind this. And this is where it's really beneficial to find that key partner. But this is again, like our first key graphic that we used, and one of our main ones that you would see around the community and would still see around the community, but it actually shifts from darkness to light, which was done intentionally to show that darkness of the abuse in the shadow of someone over to, again, Golden House's signature colors of the purple and gold, and that light of seeking support and seeking help towards that phone number. So knowing that there is help at that other end and reaching out, calling us, talking to our advocates.
We had, and something that, was available to us at our apartment was, a friendship and a partnership that we have, with an illustrator who actually does a lot of Pixar, illustrations. So he actively works with Pixar, creating graphics, images, drawing, for movies. And he was able to be a resource for us to bring his talents to the table for us to begin. So we started with this as an inspirational image, and that this was really sort of what we call the hero image of being able to say, okay, how do we start? And then from there, we worked beyond that. So why don't we go to this next piece, and I think the video is, okay, so then we started to roll out the look and the feel. And the messaging, we really wanted people to understand, we, meaning Golden House advocates on the other end of the phone, but we wanted it to be made available to not just for Golden House to share it. And this is gonna be a key part that we're gonna come to in just a minute. So this was really about helping us allow that message of, if you need help to stay safe, there's someone here for you. So remember, how many of you were in that exercise just before us, with, you know, when you went around and we didn't feel safe, right? We didn't feel that we knew where to go. We weren't sure. To even get to the shelter, we had to go 100 miles. Well, what we wanted to make sure is that if you're in the 920 area code, help is here, okay? So you didn't have to use every one of those and find yourself in, with making, no, I don't wanna, let me retract and just simply say, we wanted to make sure that help was here, or that they knew help was here. And so that's really where we ended up going. As you can see, we had a QR code also created, and that QR code went directly to allow them to get to the website that also was complimentary. And so if you clicked on any aspect of this, it could show up on your phone, and it was also on the website. And there is a quick escape button. So if you were somewhere where you didn't want someone to know that you were on that web page, there's a quick escape to get off of that page. But there also were resources to allow you to, if you push that button on the phone, it would connect you immediately. You wouldn't even have to dial the numbers. It could just connect.
So, oh, you want me to intro it? Okay.
Sure.
So with all of our images, there is actually additional images besides one that we have, our signature image. I guess what we call it, our signature image, or what did you call it? Our
In our world, in the communication world, we would call it the hero image.
hero image, sorry,
Mhm.
hero image. We have additional images as well, but to complement just our pictures, our posters, our billboards, our print advertisements, and I have some up here for example too. We actually explored further, we started creating videos. So we rolled out 3 30-second videos that have different scenarios and different verbs or different words. Sorry, wow, until it's like 2:30, different words with it. And then we recently, about 3 weeks ago now, just rolled out our 4th and 5th video, which Bridget will click for you guys so we can watch her.
We're gonna watch just this first one,
Oh,
right now
first
to
one.
give you a general understanding of how we then could leverage and put this together in a way that hopefully created an emotional appeal to allow people to understand that they could reach out and get help. So I think if you just click, you should be able to go.
When we're young, we think about what it would be like to fall in love, to have a home and a family. We never imagined that we could find ourselves in a place where things are not safe. But now we know all too well that domestic violence can take a scary turn. You want to be safe at home, but how? We want you to know there's local help. Call 920-212-SAFE. We're here. Reach out and we'll help you so you can be safe.
Now, the hero image on this one has a particular look. The woman has a particular look. On the next videos, we have people looking differently, to reflect that, people of various different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and then we also even move forward and we'll talk to you a little bit about how we then made them available in multiple languages.
Yes. Sorry, I went a little too, I was too excited.
Yeah, but you can see this, the intent was to create something that could align and create maybe an emotional connection in order to be able to bring someone to the point of being able to see that there was assistance. Here's where it starts to get really interesting. So now you have a campaign, right? You have stuff. We've created an opportunity for this information and these materials. But now how do we make sure with our resources to be able to get it out to the world? And also then, how do we take this off in a meaningful way and bring other people to the table? How can this be more than Golden House's effort? First, we came to the CCI and Renita and talked about how might that group become a part of helping us as a ripple effect in sharing this information. And how could we talk about this and really help ensure that this was discussed as a public health issue, a community-wide issue? We were thrilled that the city of Green Bay and Green Bay Police Department, Prevea, Bellin, Brown County, they all said we want in. We will help you figure out how to distribute this using our channels. And we will help you find ways of being able to collaborate to have this really get out into the community.
Yeah. So the first event kicked off just over a year ago. We did it actually at Bridget's office.
It was a media event.
It was a media event, and we shared the information with the community. And so again, it started really small with the 4 community partners plus Golden House and O'Connor connected. From there, it has continued to grow. So I have been meeting with ongoing partners. I will say there's someone in the room that I made a pitch to yesterday, so no pressure after today. But ongoing meetings with potential community partners. We want more people to join the campaign. There's actually many of you in the room that are already campaign members, so your logo is over here. But we really rely on those community partners to help share the message. We've done the work ahead of time. We did our research. We put together materials. We have everything set to go. Now it's really getting other partners to help us push this out even further. So that's really where we're still at the moment. Well, one of the biggest parts that we're doing at the moment. Again, it was a grassroots collaboration, and now we're expanding it even further. And that growth of partnership is huge. I was sharing with someone earlier, like, it would be great if we got partners after today's session. I would love that, but really the idea is sharing how we got to this point so other people can mimic it. But really, it depends on those community partners to make this successful. If we didn't have those community partners, I could say I probably don't even be as successful as we are if it wasn't for every single one of those individuals on the board.
So remember how we said we really needed people to understand that this is a public health issue, that this is a community-wide initiative and a community-wide issue. So that meant we had to help people understand this wasn't about promoting Golden House. This was about helping them reach their constituents to give them a resource should they need it. Okay, so by having that philosophy and that approach, we were able to start having the dialogue to say, we will give you everything that we've got. That video, it's yours. The social media posts, they're yours. Anything and everything, posters, whatever we have is yours to use, and we will even work with you to put your logo on it if you are a partnering organization. We also created a website in which every asset that we created, we put on a website. And once you became a partner, you then had access to that website and could download anything that we had done and share it in whatever way you wanted to. All we ask in exchange is for you to have one person in your organization participate with us in monthly or bi-monthly meetings so that we could share ideas and continue to collaborate and work together on how we could keep getting more partners and more visibility and to be able to create a ripple effect to get this word out. So that is, as you saw that website, partners then have a keyword, they can enter that code in and then be able to access all of the information. While that's going on, meanwhile, O'Connor Connected is still doing our work. And we're working because public relations is part of what we do. We're working to build media relationships, media coverage, creating partnerships, getting an opportunity to be able to have people like Marissa and Chief Davis on the Newsmaker show on Sunday morning in order to talk about the issue of domestic violence. That whole notion of this being an issue that's in the shadows, this gave us a platform to go to media outlets to say, we want you to understand what's happening. This is an issue in Brown County. We have a way in which we can talk about it in a way that hopefully your audiences will also be very interested in hearing, and that you will be able to participate as a community partner and really assist your audiences. So we worked hard on being able to have everything from television to print, radio. We worked with La Mas Grande and Midwest Communications, and our staff continue to collaborate with public relations staff at all of the partner organizations. I'll just share one as an example. Kelly McBride is responsible for some public relations at Bell and Health, and Kelly has been at, I think, just about every meeting we've had. She's come up with exciting different ideas and ways in which Bellin can incorporate the messaging into what they're doing. She has pushed out the content that we have on social, and it's been a real collaborative partner in helping us be able to identify ways of being able to get the word out. We also had the city of Green Bay was willing to assist us in a couple of ways along with Chief Davis. And I think you should tell a little bit of how Chief Davis has stepped up as a partner.
So the nice thing about having all of our community partners is they also get to be innovative in their ideas. Community partners get to decide how little big or little or big, they want to take this initiative, which is amazing because we're giving them everything that they need. They decide what they do with it. Chief Davis immediately, when they signed on to that campaign, the first thing he said was, I'm gonna create a magnet. And we were like, awesome, great, we love that idea. As you know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. All police or all squad cars in Brown County already support purple ribbons, which is something that I cover at Golden House. So I was like, great, let's get a magnet, no biggie, let's do it. Well, they ordered some magnets, they didn't stick, so he turned it into stickers. So we all know stickers are permanent, which I think is the best part. So the Green Bay Police Department committed to putting permanent stickers on all of their squad cars that are big, bright red. They're actually a little bigger than the one Bridget's holding up, which I think is cool. Big, bright red stickers that are now a driving billboard around the city of Green Bay. The really cool thing too is Chief Davis didn't stop there. He's offering up these stickers to other people and saying, you need some, I'll give you some. So for example, he has some stickers over to St. Norbert College. They're driving around St. Norbert College as well, and some other
On the security.
on the security vehicles. Some other departments have them as well too. So it's a permanent billboard going around town, and actually wherever they may travel with their squad car, with this number behind it. My favorite thing, and this is a personal story, but in my neighborhood there was 2 squad cars next to each other chatting, and they had their purple ribbon. Of course, because it's October, and right next to the purple ribbon was a red sticker. And I was like, that is a win. This is such a big win for the campaign because it is everywhere you go. So you're driving down the road, you're not sure who to call, you see that sticker. Maybe 2 days later, you're on the city bus, and you see the banner that's running in the city bus, you see that phone number. A week later, you're driving down the highway by GB, and you see the billboard up there. You now think, okay, I should give them a call, and I can call that number. So again, it's that ripple effect. All by, going back to Chief Davis, because I went on a spiral there. All by him saying, hey, I'm gonna put a sticker on the back of our squad cars.
And why would he do that? He understood that domestic violence was on the rise in Brown County. He understood that the city of Green Bay needed to be an active partner. We had the mayor's support. Eric Gingrich has shown up at our events. He participated in a media event. He continues to be a supporter. There's representation from the city at our various meetings. Chief Davis even then said, we want you to come and present this campaign at our full chiefs meeting, which is every chief of every municipality that all comes together. And so now other municipalities are stepping up to participate in this, which is just, I mean, for us, we're just providing information and then off they go. So it's all happening without, let's think of the ripple effect of that donor's idea and that donor funding. Now we have municipalities who they're not providing us funding, but they might as well be in the way in which they're now providing the way that they're reaching their constituents and their audiences by sharing the social, by putting the posters up, by putting the stickers on. All of that is building this visibility.
A few things as I just want to, before we move on. So we have these brochure racks. Now the cool thing too is the city of Green Bay actually approached us with this idea and they said, hey, oh, keep going, okay. Hey, we need something to put in our lobby that people can grab real quick. Okay, we're gonna make something for you and we're gonna make you a brochure rack card. So they got this and they're able to print as many as they need. Actually, any of our cards can. From that, actually, Hobart Lawrence decided they're going to print them and hand them out at every domestic violence call that they go to as well. So they're taking it in their own creative way. We've also had most recently, well, was it 2 weeks ago, was the Week Without Violence. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the IBHiAP posters as well. The IBHiAP is a community partner of the Be Safe campaign. And they drop these posters off at work. I've seen these posters year after year. I didn't really think much of it. So I was like, okay, fix the posters, we'll get them out to staff, get them filled out. Until one of our staff members said, hey, you know, the Be Safe logo is something. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, we didn't ask them to do that. They didn't say, hey, we're gonna do that. Are you okay with it? They just took it upon themselves to share this message and get this phone number out there. So anywhere there's a Be Safe, or sorry, a A Week Without Violence poster hanging up. The Be Safe number is out there as well.
Marissa, we've just been asked to be a little closer to the microphone so our friends who are on Zoom can hear us. So forgive us if we're just stand back just a little bit. So what we want to do is show, if you want to click to this next, this shows all of the partners then. So that was year one of the campaign. So again, for you as a takeaway, what we want you to recognize is that through that impetus of that donor idea and being able to have a little bit of seed money, we were able to create an opportunity that then could be shareable. That shareable content around this particular issue, then we were able to leverage collaborations and partnerships. And if you remember in one of those earlier slides, we just had a handful of partners. By the end of year one, we were able to announce that we are able to move forward for year two of this campaign and continue to create opportunity thanks to all of these partners now stepping up. So now we have this entire list with organizations who have said, yes, we want to be able to leverage the concept of the campaign, apply it to our brand, and help others through our marketing communications efforts to be able to find access to a person who can really get them the help that's needed. Funding first. Okay, I know I was going to go here first. Let's go to funding. So again, how could we do all of the things that we did? Well, we had that donor support that also sometimes, you know, when you have those matching donors or a little bit of dollars and you invite people then to help maximize that investment. Well, that's exactly what we attempted to do here. So we leveraged that donor's commitment by then inviting others to be a part. And we were able to garner resources from the Green Bay Packers, from Bellin, from Prevea. In fact, the Prevea resources allowed us to take the materials that we have and begin to start to put those materials and videos in Spanish. And now in part because of Brown County stepping forward with a grant from the
Health and All.
Yep.
No, Health and All
Policies.
I was going to say area Health and All Policies.
Health and All Policies grant through the ARPA funds that Anna and Nick mentioned earlier today. We received support to be able to carry this whole campaign into year two. So we now have resources in order to carry this out for another 6 months, along with the collaboration of others. And the ripple effect that has already happened, if you go to the next slide, this really tells you the story of what's happened. Because of that investment and because of this campaign, there's been, while nowhere near this dollar amount, so there's something in public relations that we track and we call it earned media coverage. So for example, if we were to buy the airtime on WFRV during that newsmaker segment, it would cost us a certain dollar amount. If we were to buy advertising space in the Green Bay Press Gazette, where they ran a story about this campaign, it would cost us a certain dollar amount. Well, over the course of the public relations efforts, we were able to earn almost $1.9 million worth of earned media coverage. So that's how much this effort was able to really reach. And really almost 9 million impressions, whether that's through the website, social media, digital ads, billboards, Spanish radio ads, Google ads, and posters. All of those things that we just talked about allowed for almost 9 million impressions and almost 1.9 million in earned media. All of the things that are radiating from the sun rays here on this graphic really showcase those things that others did, touching upon Green Bay Police Department and their squad cars, WFRV and Midwest Communications, sharing the message through their public service announcements, community engagement of sharing content. This conference, UWGB actually showed this and shared this information in their new athlete orientation. So those are just a few examples of how Bellin Health put a poster in every single one of their clinic rooms. Over 350 posters hung inside exam rooms.
Across the state of Wisconsin.
And I care, sharing with their employee newsletters. Lots of community partners put these posters in their organizations like Brown County Library. Okay, so what? What does this do? All of these numbers and all these metrics, this is the so what.
So our outcomes from year one, we have seen an increase in our services at Golden House. So we crunched some data and said from the increase or from the start of the campaign in October of 2020 to July of 2023, so a few months ago, we actually had a 26% increase in our incoming helpline calls. So that's people calling us, reaching out, accessing our crisis advocates, our mental health therapists, asking for housing assistance at immediate safety concern. So we immediately saw an increase just in those incoming helpline calls. Some additional things that we've seen too is just our overall services have increased. In October of 2022, we had 407 services that we offered. By June of 2023, we are offering 550 that month. So again, almost 150 more services in about a 10-month time span from the start of this initiative. Again, that still the number of clients increased as well. When we started this in October of 2022, we had 214 clients use services in that month. Again, in June, about 10 months later, 253 clients access services that month. So we can see that direct correlation from when this started to seeing that helpline number, seeing those posters, hearing those advertisements, people talking about it more, hearing it in their workplace, they're accessing supportive services. So we have seen an increase in our services that we've been offering. Now, of course, that's unfortunate that we're offering additional services, but it is now great that they know who to turn to. They know who to call, where to go to access those vital support network.
So here we go for year two. Year two, we really want to continue this partnership continuity and growth. We will continue to have funding in order to take us through the next 6 months of being able to showcase this. We have a whole paid digital strategy that includes leveraging Spotify and other places. If you go to Candy Crush and you play, this might pop up. Right. So if you are within the demographic that we have a lot that's being pushed out. So we have funding that will continue to allow us to do media relations and our digital marketing and continue to gather the group and to really work on managing growth of this campaign for the next 6 months. We also have a brand new, and the grant, the Brown County grant that I talked about, we will also be required as a part of that grant to continue the language translation that Prevea put into place for us to be able to have not only Hispanic, but now we will have Somali materials as well.
And also, we do also have a video in Hmong too.
In Hmong. Mm-hmm. And we're going to show you this 4th video that really takes this campaign now and brings it full circle of the images of imagining yourself there to call this number. And now this next one really introduces you to the people who are on the other end of that call.
You never expect it to happen to you, and then it does. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men are victims of domestic violence. You feel scared and helpless, but you are not alone.
I'm here to help.
Estoy aquí para ayudarte.
I'm here to help.
We are here. We are local advocates who can help you be safe. call 920-212-SAFE today.
I still think this is my new personal favorite video. That's why I'm so excited. I thought we were showing the fourth one right away. I get so excited about it.
Marissa, do you want to tell the group who these folks are?
Yes. So this, I'm not sure if it's gonna show. There we go. This fantastic group of individuals up here on the screen are actual staff members of Golden House. Actually, 4 of them currently work there, and one of them previously used to work at Golden House. But has stayed close with Golden House, that we invited her to join us for this, which was amazing. Again, we're not using paid actors. We're not using people that don't have an association with the Golden House. Their heart really lies within the work that we do. And we really, at the end of the day, wanted to make it so when someone walked in our door, that face they saw on the billboard was the person they were talking to. So when they were calling to say, hey, can I talk to Karen? That's Karen. We're going to get you talking to her. And Karen's actually our bilingual Spanish speaking advocate. Some of you guys know her in the room. So actually, as a side note to add on to this, when we started running our ads on La Mas Grande, and they were talking about, we offer a Spanish speaking advocate, immediately her calendar would be booked. People would be calling at 9:05 saying, hey, can I talk to Karen? They knew what days she worked, how to get an appointment with her, and they were ready to see her, which was an amazing outcome of the campaign as well. But again, these fantastic individuals are our actual staff members. So when someone sees our services, they get to meet with them immediately.
So let's talk a little bit about how you can get involved, because that's one of the big pieces here. If you are serving this population, those who may potentially be impacted by domestic violence, this campaign is a tool for you. It is here for you. It is free for you. You do not have to be a paid sponsor in order to take advantage of what's already been built here and to share it. And even if you're here just individually, if you're a student, if you are representing just yourself here today, there are ways for you to be involved by simply sharing the content, by pushing it out through social media, by following and liking this on social, because you never know who you might share it with that may need help, who may be thinking about reaching out, or who has not yet reached out and really needs to reach out. So there's different ways that you can be a partner. Again, it's free for you to access everything that we've done. And we also welcome ideas for you to do any form of in-kind that you might like. Simply sharing a post is an in-kind contribution to this campaign. But if there are things that your organization would like to do, whether that's sort of like the bus line said, well, give us posters and we'll put them up in the buses, right? What are the things that you have, putting them in the bathroom stalls at facilities that you manage? Whatever it is that could be an in-kind opportunity, we welcome conversation. Certainly, we're still looking for sponsorship and donation. As we shared, we have enough to get us through the next 6 months, but we're looking to be able to go beyond that. And then really any referrals that you have of partner organizations that might like to be a part, we would welcome them with open arms. So there's also ways that you can incorporate this into things that you are already doing as organizations. So the why campaign that Marissa just talked about, see how they wove that into what they're doing. This is here for you. We will help you brand it as you need it, or to be able to frame it up in a way that might work for you.
And some of our partners have been really clever in their incorporating it into their campaigns. St. Norbert College, for example, has a dedicated website. So they've created another landing page off of the St. Norbert, I think it's right off of the Wellness by Design page, that students can access these resources, and then it directs them right to the Be Safe number, Golden House's information, and all of the other community partners that we work with too. We've had some that, you know, again say, hey, we want rat cards for City Hall. Great, we're going to make them. So if your organization has something clever that they want to think of, we'll make it possible and we'll make it work.
Yes. I just want to bring us back right before we want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions and be able to have a little conversation here before we're done. But I just want to end with the way that we began. And that was the notion of the outreach for a campaign and to really be able to think about health in all policies. It's really about convening and collaborating. It's about engaging and envisioning what could be possible, making a plan, investing in change, and tracking the progress. Those are the things in which we did for this particular campaign. It's for you to be able to leverage and to use, but we also hope you'll think about ways that your organizations or even you as individuals might be able to recreate this for other causes and other issues. So thank you for the opportunity for us to be able to share this. We want to open it up and be able to answer any questions that you might have, or even to begin to have a little dialogue about other kinds of public service announcements that may potentially require or need a campaign similar to this. Any questions? Yes, please.
So if you're talking about potentially replicating this in other communities, and maybe this is a potential for action question, but how much state money are you talking? You know, is it $10,000? Is it $100,000? How much is it to kind of get the ball rolling?
Well, I would, without getting into a lot of the funding specifics for this one, what I would say is a campaign can start with whatever you have.
Okay.
Right? If you have $5,000 of a grant to be able to get started, that can get you started, right? And then other people can come into play. So we don't want you to think that the dollar amount is what would limit you to be able to think big about the potential of what you could do in creating a message and being able to get this out. Now, there were significant dollars put into this. That donor wanted things done really beautifully. They wanted to be able to have a combination of lots of different content right out of the gate, right? And they wanted it professionally managed. But not every campaign needs all of that. So you may have people in your department, or you may have a committee in which you're a part that folks can come together around a common idea and be pretty darn creative.
I'll also add to our initial funding sustained us for quite some time. That additional funding didn't come in until more recently. And it took that foundation before we could garner that additional support, because we had to have outcomes that we could show as well of what we started and what we want to keep doing is making an impact. So help support that as we go along. So it did take some time. So I wouldn't be discouraged right off the bat if it does take 6-9 months for someone else to come in and say, hey, we're going to provide additional support. Because it happened to us. And we just kept going though the entire time. We weren't going to let it stop us. Now we did have backup plans. What happens if we don't get additional funding? What are we going to do? What's the next step? And we're going to keep going.
Not everybody has to bring big packers in their back pocket, right? Like,
Yeah.
My next question was, so 920 is a regional area code, right? So how does Golden House handle calls that are from different communities?
Yes. So that was actually a question that was brought up when we were talking about the posters at Bellin Health and going all the way up. We decided to make the cutoff at the Wisconsin-Michigan border, right? So we're actually going all the way up to essentially part of Iron Mountain, really, like all the way up there. And what we would do is if someone called that 920-212 safe number and it gets redirected to us, we would do the exact same thing we would do if someone was calling us from Florida or Texas or Chicago or Milwaukee. So we're going to assess their situation, because sometimes it is safer to come to Golden House, and we know that. Sometimes they need to physically leave. I'm going to say like Marinette. They cannot be there because it's not safe. They have to come to us. We're going to assess that situation. Now, if they're maybe in Texas and they see this phone number and we are not the best option for them, that advocate that's on our other line is going to help assess the situation and connect them with a local resource. So it happened with or without the Be Safe number anyway. We go with what we're doing already in our practices. So nothing actually changes for our advocates. I'll also say too, our advocates actually have no idea if our calls are coming in from the 212 safe number or our original Golden House number. Our staff haven't. So they treat everyone exactly the same.
Any other questions that you might have about sort of how we came to this, how you might be able to apply it? Any questions that you would have as it relates to what or where or how it could be integrated into something that you're doing right now?
I have a microphone for you too.
I think they're recognizing that we're at the end of the session
Yeah,
of the
it's almost
day.
4 o'clock.
And so when we're done, they're done.
Yeah.
Well, we completely respect that and appreciate it, but we really want to thank you for your time. We thank you for listening to learn a little bit more about the Be Safe campaign. We invite all of you to participate. There are there's a few swag items that are still around that are available. Oh, one more question.
Yes, please come grab some.
Yes, so we have for our Zoom friends, feel free to reach out to Marissa or myself and we can help hook you up with anything that you might be interested in. For a few of the items that remain here, we have some bracelets and posters and stickers and things that we encourage you to take back with you. But first of all, if you could all do me a favor, those of you who have your phone with you,
So whip them out. You all have
grab
them.
your phone.
You all have them.
Grab your phone. Those of you who are, you can do this a number of ways. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Please like, follow, or share 920-212-SAFE. We would so appreciate your support because again, if you share this content, you may be helping save someone in a very big way. Have you found it? Aha. Wonderful. LinkedIn is there as well.
Yep. I always forget about that one.
Yes.
LinkedIn too.
Mm-hmm.
We got so much going on.
And lastly, if you would like this brought to your organization, whether it's about the campaign or simply training, Marissa is really available to be able to have a conversation with you about the various different ways in which you can access the resources of the campaign, training, or Golden House in general. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it. Keep sharing 920-212-SAFE. Thank you.